and welcome to Good Games Spawn Point, the show for gamers by gamers. I'm Hex.
And I'm Bajo.
And I am D.A.R.R.E.N.
Guys, only in video games can there exist a sport where strange two-headed worm people wrestle over a ball. Things get weird and wormy in Push Me, Pull You.
Ooh, what has science done?
They've gone too far, Darren.
Affirmative.
Plus, guys, I think there might be a risk of rain.
What?
We're indoors, Bajo.
Oh no, it's just the air conditioner leaking.
Okay, Darren, let's have a test of your gaming knowledge.
Affirmative. Activate your limbic system, spawnlings. It's time for D.A.R.R.E.N's challenge. Today, I'm asking you this. In Ori and the Blind Forest, what are the three main elements of life? Answer at the end of the show.
I know they all start with W.
No more clues, Bajo. Let's get to some gaming picks with Goose. Hey, Goose.
Hey guys.
Hey, Goose, what do you think the three main elements of life are?
Ooh, three elements of life. Well, there's coffee every morning, skateboarding because it's cool, and it's got to be cats because they're just awesome.
Goose, those are the three main elements of Melbourne.
Yeah, and shouldn't games be in there?
Oh yeah, games. Well, maybe I could cut back on my skateboarding for some games. Speaking of games, here are my gaming picks for this week. And let's get a bit of bad news out of the way first. Disney have announced they're stopping production of Disney Infinity games and will close down their developer Avalanche Software. There's some silver lining though, as there will be 3 new characters coming from Alice Through the Looking Glass and a Finding Dory playset coming later this year. But alas, after that, Disney Infinity will be no more. I guess it wasn't so infinite after all. But now on to happier news for all you Pokemon trainers looking forward to the new Sun and Moon games. Your starter Pokemon have been announced. Your options will include, in the official order of their awesomeness, Poplio, a water-type sea lion kind of thing. Then there's Rowlet, a grass and flying type owl-like creature. And finally, Litten, a fire-type black kitten. And I think we all know the correct choice will be the kitty. And finally, there's a new world record high score in the long-running competition for the #1 spot on the Donkey Kong leaderboard. Wes Copeland reclaimed his #1 title with what he says is a perfect run. That perfect run took him almost 3 hours and 20 minutes and saw him end up scoring 1,218,000 points. Copeland says that will be his final record attempt since he doesn't think that his score can get any better. All hail the new King of Kong! And for my pick of the week from you spawnlings, 11-year-old Christian sent in this video which he says is of him playing Wii tennis against himself. Good work, Christian. How can you lose? Well, I mean, even if you win, you still lose, but look, good work. Remember, if you have something to send in, you can do so here. But for now, back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Goose. Now, Bajo, Hex, I have a bone to pick with you both.
Well, what did we do?
Risk of Rain was released in 2013. It is a game set on alien planets. It has lasers. It's co-op. Why have we not reviewed this on Good Game Spawn Point?
Oh, well, Darren, it came out towards the end of the year and we couldn't really fit it in.
Yeah, plus we had a lot of other games.
No excuses. Review commencing. Risk of Rain is a 2D roguelike which has just been re-released on PSN and PlayStation Vita. You're happily flying along in space in what appears to be a giant cargo ship. Strange figure plunges their sword into your ship, severely damaging it. Hordes of strange creatures are released, and your ship is sent crashing to the ground!
And in the process, lots of crates of loot as well. Your goal is to survive by fighting your way through enemies and bosses, collecting XP and coins to level up, and buy gear you find along the way.
Yes, and I'm not sure why you have to purchase gear from cargo that fell out of your ship and that is just lying around there for the taking. But anyway, that's how it works. It's a lot of fun, but guys, this game is really hard.
Yeah, even on easy difficulty, you have to work to survive.
Risk of Rain is hard for a reason. Life isn't meant to be easy on an alien planet. And it's also in the roguelike genre, which means you're meant to fail, and then do better and better each time you play. The more you play, the more weapons and gear you'll unlock, which will then become available to you on your next playthrough. It's a complicated system, but also a rewarding one.
Absolutely. You won't have much luck at all unless you try as hard as you can to get as many upgrades as you can.
Oh, yes, Hex. It stacks on with those passive upgrades, lasers and mortars and drones. And then you become an unstoppable powerhouse of destruction and numbers. It is quite enjoyable.
Yes, well, the controls are quite simple and very much about avoiding damage.
Yes, there's a variety of characters to unlock too, and they all have their own playstyles.
Ah, yes, I was a big fan of the loader who is melee only. Pow pow!
I liked the engineer who drops turrets and mines and mortars.
I liked the bandit. Howdy, stranger. Blah, blah.
Yeah, there's a great selection and they all add new challenges and options to how you play. I do think they're a little slow to unlock though, especially on normal difficulty.
Yeah, I agree, and it's easy to get disheartened early on as you're playing that same character over and over. I'd recommend playing on easy first, because you unlock characters quicker that way.
Yeah, and the difficulty spikes can be massive. You'll do really well on level 1 and 2, and then suddenly die within minutes on 3.
Part of that is because this game uses a unique difficulty timer system. The difficulty is always increasing with time. But you also need to get enough upgrades in one level to be able to survive the next. So it's very much a tug of war between the two, and there are a few ways you can approach it.
Well, this is a fun game playing solo, but even more fun when you play in co-op. I do wonder though how much of that fun is determined by who you're playing with.
Yeah, you share gold, but not the pickup, so it's always a frantic race to get the items. And you can get into these stalemates where one person is waiting by an item while the other refuses to move. You share the same screen in local co-op, and it can be a little tricky to see where the other person is when they go off screen. But that just encourages you to work together more.
There's also no options to zoom in, so all the characters are very tiny on the screen.
Yeah, but these are small complaints, really. Overall, this is a really fun roguelike with a rocking soundtrack, so I'm giving it 4 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Yeah, this is great fun, and once you start playing, it's so easy to have one more go. I'm giving it 4 out of 5 rubber chickens as well.
And now it is time for Goose to catch up with the Spawnling, who has made his own virtual reality game. Roll the tape, Lee!
Thanks, guys. So I'm here with Matt, who's designed his very own game as part of a school assignment. And the best part is, it can be played in virtual reality. So I'm gonna give it a go. All right, Matt, I'm going in.
Good luck.
Okay, Matt, talk me through, where should I be going first?
All right, so you really need to survive and you need to get out of here. Up there is a portal and it's broken, so you need to fix it.
Fix it with some, oh, whoa. I'm gonna fix it with some rocks. Where's the rock gonna go? Yeah.
There is somewhere near you where you can get some speed if you want. But you're gonna do some jumping.
That direction?
You might fall. Yeah.
You sound nervous. Should I step on it?
Well, you know.
I'm gonna step on it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna... Oh! Ah! Oh no! Oh, I wanna get down. No, I don't wanna get down. Whoa!
You're
Whoa!
fine. Are you okay?
I think I'm okay. Whew. Wow, okay, that was quite an experience. So, Matt, when did you first get the idea to make a game as an assignment?
Yeah, well, we got an assignment and we got told we could do whatever we want with computers. And I played a lot of games. I'd heard of VR, so I thought I'd make a computer game and use virtual reality.
And Time Warp. Play as a survivor in prehistoric times.
The Verge as a whole is actually the journey of technology through time. So it begins with obviously prehistoric technology, which is what the main part of the game is. Then moves on to medieval times, and then has a short film, which is even more modern technology. It really is sort of technology from prehistoric times to the present, yeah.
This is Verge.
A lot of schools don't have the technology you need to be doing this sort of thing, so I didn't actually do any of this at school, it was all at home. But yeah, the teachers were supportive of me doing it, they just didn't have the technology required because it is so new, yeah. I just Googled things. I looked up on the internet and there were lots of helpful people who would give me advice, tips, tutorials, and I just really searched it all on the internet, yeah. So I sort of started with making the game and then it was getting to a good point and I still had enough time. I thought, well, let's try out virtual reality and it started working and so I just sort of added into the project, yeah.
It's like I'm actually there. This is quite amazing. Excellent. And had you been playing around with virtual reality before this?
No, I only really got a virtual reality headset for this project. So yeah, it was an investment for school.
How did you incorporate an armband for a referral into this game?
Well, the Maya isn't actually made for gaming. It was originally made for doing presentations. So you put it on your arm and then you can be navigating the PowerPoint presentation kind of like this. But the same trackers within it can actually be used to track if you're doing a fist or whatever. So if you need to pick up a rock, as opposed to just using the mouse, you can actually make that gesture with your hand. And it feels like you're picking up the rock or whatever it is, yeah.
So look at the rock and pick it up.
You got it?
There we
Nice,
go.
nice.
And 1, 2, 3. Ah!
Well, when we were first talking about the idea, I didn't know if I could even begin to start the project. So when I handed it in and it was actually working, yeah, couldn't believe that it actually came together, yeah. The markers decided that they loved it so much that it got first in state. And then since then, yeah, I've been offered a scholarship at UTS. Yeah, so I'm doing a Bachelor of Information Technology. So I'm doing a lot of programming, a lot of video work, all this sort of stuff, working with games, yeah.
Hey, I have made fire. Excellent.
I think my only advice I can give is that you need to do what you love doing, and then it doesn't seem like you're working at all. I could be working on this for hours and I wouldn't really notice. So whatever area that you love, just keep working at that and you'll love doing it and you'll be good at it, yeah.
Awesome work, Matt.
Yeah, well done.
And now it's time for you two to head off to the Spawn Point desk.
Oh!
Off you go.
Okay, well, let's start things off this week from, it's a mystery viewer who is in Sydney, in the ACT, apparently.
Sydney in the ACT. Oh, it must be the capital Sydney.
Pliz, good game. So please help me get good at Clash of Clans. I keep on seeing Town Hall 7 bases when I have 6. Please help me. And plus, you are the best ever.
Well, Mystery Spawnling, there is a simple way to find yourself facing off against lower town hall levels. Just lose trophies.
Yeah, the matchmaking in Clash of Clans is based on how many trophies you have. So, if you have more trophies, you're more likely to be matched up against high-level bases.
And the easiest way to lose a match is to just simply find yourself any base, place a single barbarian, and then hit the surrender button. Do that a few times until you've lost a bunch of trophies, and you'll find yourself facing off against enemy bases that are closer to your level.
It is worth noting, though, that the matchmaking system only looks at trophies and doesn't care what level your base is. So, no matter how many trophies you lose, you'll still come up against higher level bases from players who have also intentionally lost trophies.
Yeah, but generally speaking, you're much more likely to find lower level bases at lower trophy counts.
And then, other than that, the best way to get good at the game is to keep upgrading your defenses and your troops. And try to learn which combinations of troops are most effective for your level.
Generally speaking, the best combinations rely on having a good mix of tanky troops with lots of hit points, like giants or golems, and then backing them up with a few troops with high damage per second, like wizards or P.E.K.K.A.s.
Or if you don't have access to those troops yet, then archers and barbs can work quite well as backup. And the general idea is to place down your tanks so defenses target them and then send in the backup.
And another thing which is key to a successful attack is momentum. So placing down your troops quickly and effectively to overwhelm their defenses is essential. And do your best to bring enough wall breakers or earthquake spells to take down walls. Getting stuck behind lots of walls will stop an attack in its tracks.
Well, while we're on the topic of Clash of Clans, we also have this one from Abby, who is in Sydney, which is in New South Wales.
That's accurate. Sydney is in New South Wales.
It is. We live there.
Yeah. Hey, Good Game SP, I have 2 questions for you to answer for me. Every time I watch this show, people say that Bajo is a noob. I find that hard to believe. But for proof, I need you to answer these as 2 questions. 1. If your king or queen is being upgraded when Clan War starts, are they active in war or sleeping? 2. Can troops in my clan castle still defend if my castle is undergoing upgrades? Thank you, Abby. Oh, Hex, quick, we need to prove that I'm not a noob. Go.
Come on it, Bajo. Well, Abby, firstly, if you're upgrading your king or queen, then they will miss out on any clan wars until they've finished upgrading.
But your clan castle will keep on working just fine even if it is being upgraded, so you can continue to request troops to use in attacks or to defend your base.
All right, well, that answers that. So let's move on to this one from Daxter the Ottsel, who is in Spargus City, Victoria.
Who's not a noob? Who's got 2 thumbs and not a noob? Me, this guy.
I have 2 thumbs as well. What does that mean?
That means you are not a noob either.
Hey, I was just wondering when me and my buddy Jak will be getting a new game because it's been forever since Jak 3. And also, when are Jak and myself to expect a movie, since Ratchet and Clank have theirs coming out later in the month? Thanks, guys, and P.S. Darren is a noob. Ha! Bloop, bloop.
Well, sorry to say, Daxter, but there hasn't been any new games announced for the Jak and Daxter series.
But the developers behind the games, Naughty Dog, have said that they did start work on a Jak 4 and did some concept art for it, except they stopped working on it since they didn't find anything that felt right for the game, and then they moved on to other projects.
But they have also just finished work on one of those other projects and have said they might consider going back to the idea of a new Jak and Daxter, so it is certainly possible.
Well, almost anything is possible, Bajo, but for now, nothing has been announced. So let's move on to this one from Wonder Woman, who is from Planet Earth, New South Wales.
Almost anything is possible, you say, Hex?
Yes.
What about a cyborg wings? If I had some cyborg wings, would that be possible?
I mean, it's possible, it's just not probable.
Cyborg arms? Cyborg legs?
All that stuff's just really expensive, Bajo.
I could
The
be
science
totally
isn't
cyborg.
Quite there
Totally
yet.
cyborg. Not Darren, though. Bajo speaking.
It's your loss.
Hello there, Bajo and Hex, and Darren, and Goose. Just Wonder Woman-ing whether or not you know the release date of Zelda U. Will it come out in 2016 like Nintendo promised, or be delayed again? Thank you for answering. B33 Wonder Woman! One love heart.
Well, we've got a bit of double bad news for you there, Wonder Woman. First of all, sadly, the new Zelda has been delayed until March next year. So now it will coincide with the launch of their next console, the NX.
Yeah, it'll be coming to both Wii U and NX, but it's also apparently rated M, so we won't actually be able to review it here on Good Games 4
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but I guess that's just how the cookie crumbles. Cookies. But speaking of new consoles, let's move on to this one now from Robot Princess Mrs. Rebecca, who is in the Robot Kingdom, which is in space, of course, in New South Wales.
The Robot Princess.
Hi, Good Game. My question is for Darren. Hi, Darren. I am looking to buy a game console for the first time and was wondering what console I should get. If you do not answer my question, I will have the Royal Guards find you and put you in my Royal Dungeon of Noobs. Thank you. Hex is awesome.
Oh, Hex, Her Royal Highness, the Robot Princess. I better get Darren on the line and sort this out.
Hello.
Bajo, Hex, Good Games 4 Desk. Darren, are you there?
Bajo, have you been accused of noobery again?
I think not. Excuse me, I was acquitted, and because of double jeopardy, I can't be tried for the same crime twice, Darren. But I do have a question here from Her Royal Highness, the Robot Princess.
The Robot Princess? Oh, I must... Where are my manners? I shall play a fanfare. And that was the arrival of the Queen of Sheba by Handel. Now, what would Her Royal Highness like to know?
She was thinking of buying a new console and was wondering what console she should get.
Oh, that's easy. She should not buy any of them.
What? But there are great consoles out there. Explain yourself, Darren.
Well, now would be amongst the worst times to buy a new console, as we know for sure that there'll be a new Nintendo console early next year. Meanwhile, it seems almost certain that Sony will be releasing an enhanced PS4 soon, which many are calling a PS 4.5. Oh. And many are expecting Microsoft to follow suit with an enhanced Xbox.
So you're saying it's looking like we might have 3 new consoles to choose from soon?
Well, there'll be at least one brand new console within the next 12 months for sure, and possibly 2 upgraded consoles. Hopefully, we'll learn more about what's coming out at E3. It might be best to wait for those announcements just to be sure.
Okay, but out of all the consoles we might be getting or already have, which would you recommend?
Well, it's impossible to say without concrete information. I'm just going by my sources, and a robot journalist never reveals his sources. We'll just have to wait and see.
Well, I guess it's always good to have the facts before making a big decision like this. But on that note, I think we're out of time for this week, and if you'd like to ask us a question, then you can go here and send it in.
Play us out, Darren.
Affirmative.
I wish we could have this fanfare all the time.
It's beautiful. It reminds me of my mum.
Well, guys, in all my years on Spawn Point playing all kinds of games, I don't think I've ever played one quite as weird as this. This is Push Me Pull You, a multiplayer-only game created in Melbourne by developer House, who describe it as cooperative physics-based sumo soccer. And I'm glad they described it because I don't think I would have known how to.
Yeah, two sausage-like people pushing a ball along the ground. I'm not sure how they came up with this concept, but it is a lot of fun on the couch with friends.
Affirmative. The game's classic mode is about fighting to keep a ball on your side of the court. You can crawl around, stretch yourself out, or shrink your body down, and do whatever it takes to fight off your opponents and keep control of the ball. Ugh, those strange, stretchy humans. Ugh.
Yeah, it's a bit like wrestling. You have the most strength in your upper body. When you're shrunk right down, it's easier to push. But the longer you are, the more fleshy and floppy and harder to control you become. So it's a careful balancing act of speed and strength to try and hold the ball and win points.
Yeah, it's a crazy tussle. This game requires at least 2 people to play, but I think it's more fun with 4. All right, just a
let's
warm
go.
up.
What is this?
Oh dear.
Oh dear, oh no.
Well, Darren, which end are you?
Oh, I don't know. What has science done?
And for 4 players, you only need 2 controllers because 2 people share 1 controller, and that gets a bit frantic.
Go. In we go.
Okay.
We've trapped them!
Let's lock it up. Chaos. Oh! Even though my pasta scoop put me at a disadvantage, and I found it hard to look at those fleshy sausage humans, robot efficiency still won the day.
Yeah, you did well, Darren. It was a weird and wonderful experience, wasn't it?
It's such a simple idea, and yet there's some kind of magic that happens when you play this with friends. I thought it was a cute touch that you can customize your look too, with some basic hairstyles and skin colors.
There are a few variations on the classic mode, such as playing with multiple balls, or needing to protect your team's ball while pushing the other team's ball off the court.
Yeah, those modes are pretty fun too. But they are all essentially about struggling with that human worm. And for that reason, I do question how long our love for this game might last. I'm having fun with it now, but I don't think I'll be playing this next week.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The novelty was already starting to wear off a little bit after a long play session, but I also think it's the sort of game that you just bring out every now and again for a laugh.
Yes! Yes!
I think this is definitely a good one to have in your party game library. What are you giving it, Bajo?
I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5 rubber chickens.
I'm gonna give it 3.5.
Well, we're just about at the end of another show for this week, but before we go, Darren, please, the answer to your challenge.
Well, at the start of the show, I asked you this. In Ori and the Blind Forest, what are the 3 main elements of life? And the answer is... wind, water, and warmth.
Ah, yes, it makes me want to play it again so bad.
I know, it was so beautiful, but we have other games to play. Next week on the show, we fire up the 3DS for an epic RPG, Etrian Odyssey 2 Untold, the Fafnir Night.
I will call for you with my whole heart. No matter where you may be, I will take pains that my voice might reach you.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, this one. It's a bit like Pokemon meets Final Fantasy with a bit of dungeon crawling thrown in.
Oh, a fine combo. Oh, and in fact, the game's creator is now actually working on the Final Fantasy series.
They must have really liked his work. Well, until next time, may all your games be good ones. Hex out.
Bajo out.
Darren out.
You know, that Push Me Pull You game reminds me a lot of worms. They look like worms.
Yeah, I'm like...
Did you know that the world's longest worms grow right here in Australia?
Really?
They grow up to 1 meter in length.
Ew.
That's like that big. Do they have the scary beaks on the front? They're scary.
Oh, very much so. But remember, walk without rhythm and you won't attract a worm.